Hi students, good morning. How are you all? I hope you are all fine, right? Okay. Till yesterday we discussed about the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay. Today we will start our discussion with the next concept, that is quantum theory and quantum mechanics. What do you mean by quantum theory and what are we going to learn in the quantum mechanics? Let us see, children. Quantum theory. It has been introduced by Max Planck in 1900. Means the radiant energy could only be emitted or absorbed in discrete quantities. What do you mean by radiant of energy over here, children? Radiant of energy in the sense, whenever the electron is revolving around the nucleus inside the atom, it used to radiate its energy. That energy either will be in the form of emission or absorption. Okay, maybe you are getting surprised. What is this emission and what is this absorption, right? Don't worry about it, children. In this topic, we are going to learn about those. Quantum. What do you mean by quantum exactly? Quantum in the sense it is a packets of energy. Oh, energy will be in the form of packets too. Means whenever we are going to supply the energy, we cannot supply the energy in a continuous manner. So that supply of energy in the form of packets is considered as quantum. Okay, so this has been correlated data from the black body experiment to his quantum theory. Means Max Planck has collected the information from the black body experiment. Okay, what is black body experiment? Means on a perfectly black body, a light has been fallen. It goes on emitting some of the perfect colored flames. Okay, so what do you mean by perfect black body? Whatever the energy absorbed by any of the object, the total energy has been re-emitted. Means suppose some of the energy of some of the joules, some of the kilojoules of energy has been supplied. Assume that a body has been done with, means absorbed 5 kilojoules of energy, suppose. Now, after absorbing the energy, the body cannot keep it with. Okay, it used to re-emit the absorbed energy. So, the total 5 kilojoules of energy without holding any particular quantity with it, then that will be considered as the black body. Okay, so by doing the experiment on the black body, he collected the information for his quantum theory. Okay, and he started thinking in a revolutionized way. That means energy in the form of packets. That is what quantized manner, right? So that is the form of quantization of energy. So based on that, the quantum theory came into picture. Let's observe still more how this quantum theory has been came into picture and what is the relation between the energies and all. So energy of a single quantum of energy will be given using the formula E is equals to h nu, where E is the energy in joules and h is the Planck's constant. Why is it considered as a Planck's constant? Because it has been introduced by Planck, right? That's why. Means nu is the frequency. What does it mean, children? Energy is directly proportional to the frequency. That means suppose if we are giving a lot of energy to the substance, then it used to produce a lot of frequency. So this directly proportional symbol has been replaced with h. That is what the constant. Always the proportionality symbol will be replaced with some equal to and a constant, right? Here it is a Planck's constant, which has a value of 6.63 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. Suppose it has been in the erg second, in the sense it is 10 power minus 27 it will be. Okay. And conversions, at the conversions part we are going to learn that joules and ergs. Okay. Now let's continue. So coming to the photoelectric effect. Okay, to know the energy what has been absorbed by the system, first of all we should know photoelectric effect. What do you mean by photoelectric effect? the emission of the electrons from a metal plate, okay, in the form of quantums is considered as photoelectric effect. See this? The photoelectric effect is the emission of electrons when the electromagnetic radiation such as light, isn't it? The lights are, all the light waves are the electromagnetic waves because it doesn't require any medium, and even while those are traveling, they used to produce both electric and magnetic field. Am I right, children? So, such as light, if it hits the material, see here, if you can observe over here, children. See the light waves are coming and striking the surface. Whenever these light waves come and strikes the surface, then the electrons are emitting in their own directions, okay, in this manner. So these electrons which are being emitted whenever the light strike, light in the sense photo, children, light in the sense photo, okay, then this type of energy, this packet of energy is called as quanta and even considered as a photon. Okay, then these electrons are considered as photoelectrons. Now, who gave this idea? Einstein proposed that particles of light are really photons. That means the packets of light energy, and deducted that E photon, that means the energy of photon, is equals to h nu. Means even Einstein also given the same statement about the photoelectric effect. That means based on the photoelectric effect, the light energy in the form of photons will be given with a formula that energy of photon is equals to h nu. Okay, now only light with a frequency of photons means whatever is the energy we are giving to the substance, at that particular energy all the electrons will be emitted or what? No, only light with a frequency of photons such that h nu equals to the energy that binds the electrons in the metal is sufficiently energetic to eject the electrons. Means whatever the energy we are using, it should be sufficient enough. Suppose you are very hungry, okay, you are very hungry. If you want a full plate meals, you got only a half plate meals, then you will be satisfied to get back to the work properly? No, right? So if your stomach is okay, completely okay, then you will get back to your work so happily. In the same way, to eject the electron, that means suppose if we want to pull any of the object from the substance, okay, we require the sufficient energy. If we don't have the enough energy, then we can't pull the object from it, right? So in the same manner, here also we used to get that the same sufficient energy is required to get the electrons out. Okay, if the light of higher frequency is used, electrons will be ejected and will leave the metal with additional kinetic energy. Suppose, okay, only with sufficient frequency, that means enough frequency we have used. Okay, light of with enough frequency we have used. So that means perfectly satisfactory stage of the energy we have supplied. Then electrons will be emitted, of course. Suppose in that case, if we have used the higher frequency, then what happens? Electrons will get more energy. So they used to move with the additional kinetic energy. They will move very fast from the metal. Okay. Then what is the relationship between the energy and the frequency? Tell me, energy and the frequency. E is equals to h nu. Now, the light of at least the threshold frequency and of the greater intensity will eject more electrons. Means, what do you mean by threshold frequency, children? That means the frequency which is sufficient to eject the electrons out from the metal. That is called threshold frequency. Means the frequency which is required. That is the sufficient frequency which is required to eject the electrons from the given metal. Okay. Now, light of at least threshold frequency will be there, or else it should have a greater intensity to eject more number of electrons. Suppose you just want to take out so many number of electrons from the metal. Then what should we do? We should supply either the sufficient frequency, that means the threshold frequency, or else the greater intensity of frequency we should supply. Did you understand, children? Okay, let's move on then. Coming to the photoelectric effect. Okay, by knowing about the photoelectric effect, there is a situation of dynamo caused by this theory. What is the dilemma? Light is a wave or a particle? Here we are seeing the light as a wave at some cases. And whenever the energy carried by some quantums of energy while we are discussing, we are looking that maybe it is a particle. Okay, this dilemma caused in the scientist. Now it came up with a theory. What is the conclusion over here? Light must have the particle characteristics as well as the wave characteristics. That means it is having a dual nature. What it is used to called as dual nature of substance. What is this? Dual nature. What do you mean by dual nature? That means it used to have the particles character and as well as the wave character. Okay, children? Understood? So let's get back to the next one. Bohr's theory of the hydrogen atom. Okay, we are discussing about the Bohr's theory, right? Before that, before coming to the quantum theory, we are discussing about the Bohr's postulates and then Bohr's stationary orbits like that. Okay, using the Planck's theory, that is what the quantum theory, along with the Einstein's ideas. Einstein also gave the idea E photon is equals to h nu, and of course the Planck also said the same E is equals to h nu. Not only explained the photoelectric effect but also made it possible for the scientists to unravel the idea of atomic line spectra. What is this atomic line spectra, children? Let us see. What is this atomic line spectra? The line spectra in the sense emission of the light only at specific wavelengths. Means suppose on any other object, if we have focused some of the light, then it used to emit some of the light energy. It used to emit some of the light energy. Means suppose there is a mirror. Okay, if we focus the light on the mirror, then what happens? It used to give away some of the focus to outside, right? So I'm just giving an example to make you understand what is the emission of light. Okay, right? So emission of light only at the specific wavelength is considered as the line spectra. Means every element has a unique emission spectrum. Okay, here we have to discuss again the two types of spectrum. That is, one is emission spectrum and the absorption spectrum, children. Emission spectrum as well as absorption spectrum. I will tell you what it is. Often referred to as the fingerprints of the element. Okay, how these are related? These line spectrum are related as the fingerprints. So how come this idea come? See, atoms. There are several elements in our periodic table, right? How to recognize them? Maybe with the atomic number. Okay, suppose with the atomic number, how to recognize them properly? Means they are going to emit a perfect line spectra. That means every individual element has its own character of emitting the line spectra. How? For us, what is the identity? Suppose there are twins. The twins are completely identical to each other. Okay, there is no much difference at all. Then how are we going to identify them? Using the fingerprints. Fingerprints are the alone identity. Okay, that is the individual identity for the persons. Okay, in the same way, line spectrums are the identity for the atoms. Okay, how these line spectrum are going to create? Let's see. In this way, suppose a high voltage of energy has been supplied, that it has been passed through the substance. Here I have taken a prism. Okay, it is going to produce a different lines over here. See, children, different lines over here. Okay, here red color, green color, blue color and violet color, like this. Means here on this dark background, they are going to produce a different colors. Okay, I have used some of the using the discharge tube with a high voltage. I have used one type of light. Okay, that light has been fallen on this. Here the if I keep the photographic plate over here, this photographic plate absorb the perfect light colors over here. Okay, so this is how the atomic line spectra used to produce. Now coming to the bright line spectra. These are the bright line spectra. For the different elements, see children, here lithium, sodium, potassium, calcium, strontium, barium, hydrogen, helium, neon, argon. If you observe very carefully, you can't get all any of the two. Are there any of the two similar to each other, children? Try to observe very carefully. See here, lithium is having the two lines here over here, and then there are light colored lines, blue color lines over here, and the sodium is having here the lines, and then the potassium is having like, means maybe those are all the metals. These are all alkali metals. These are all alkaline earth metals. These are all the gases, but no, not even a single one. That means no two substances, no two elements or no two atoms can have the same line spectra. Okay, no two atoms, they don't have the similar line spectra at all, because the line spectrums are the identities of the atoms. Okay, now line spectrum of hydrogen. Okay, let us take only one particle. That means let us take for the starting particle, that is what atomic number 1. Atomic number 1 in the sense it is having a 1 proton and 1 electron. So the electron is responsible for to jump from one state to another state. That means a ground state to the exciting state. Maybe you don't know the what is ground state. Let us see. As the electron get closer to the nucleus, that is what energy of N becomes larger in absolute value, but also more negative. And that means here the ground state is the lowest energy state of an atom. Means, and then the next one is the excited state. That means each energy state in which N is greater than 1. Suppose, let us see. Here I have taken an electron over here. Okay, this is my nucleus. Okay, this is my nucleus because this is a denser part, right? So this is my nucleus. Now around this nucleus I have, just a moment. Okay, around this nucleus I used to have nucleus. Okay, here this is an orbit. Okay, and the next one there is another orbit over here. Okay, assume that this is one of the orbit and this is another orbit. This is the first one. This is the first orbit. This is the first orbit. Now this is my second orbit. Now if the electron is over here, then it jumps from, now it is in the ground state now. Okay, hydrogen is having only one electron, right? So for this hydrogen it is having one electron. It used to rotate in this orbit. It used to rotate in this orbit continuously like this. Okay, like this. Now that means it is in the state of ground state. That is what the lowest energy state of an atom. That is the lowest energy state of an atom. Now suppose a light has been focused on it. Okay, light has been focused on it. Then what it used to get? It used to get some of the energy. So by having that energy, what it used to do? It used to jump from this stage to this stage. So that means lowest to the highest energy level. Lowest to the highest energy level. That means then what it used to consider? By absorbing the energy, it used to jump from the ground state to the excited state. The first one is considered as the ground state, and the second orbit is considered as the excited state. Okay, so from the ground state to the excited state, whenever it is going to absorb the energy, it used to emit some of the spectrum of colors. That is what considered as absorption spectrum. Whenever it is going to jump from one level to the other level, that is what the ground state to excited state, means the lowest state to highest state, it is going to absorb the energy, right? So that's what it is going to give the absorption spectrum. Okay, and after rotating over here, suppose if you are packing everything and going to somewhere other, the new place, okay, will you stay back there? No. After enjoying and after the completion of your enjoyment, you will get back to your original state. Original state, that means original house or original place. Am I right? In the same way, after completion of the energy of this, what it used to done? Okay, for this first energy level, if it requires only 1 joule of energy, assume just it requires 1 joule of energy to revolve in this particular first orbit. Okay, 2 joules of energy is required to revolve in second energy level. Okay, Now, if it has only 1.8 joules of energy, where it used to turn, but the electron, remember children, the electron won't stay in between the energy levels at all. Electron won't stay in between the energy levels. So it has to get back to the first energy level by emitting the rest of the energy as 1.8. See, I told you first of all 1, then it has the next value as 2. But now the electron is having just 1.8 joules of energy, I am saying. Okay, this decimal point of 0.8 joules of energy is high. It will be emitted. It will be emitted. That means it will give out, because only 1 joule of energy is eligible for this level. Okay, so this 0.8 joules of energy will be released out, emitted out. So whenever the energy will be emitted, that will be in the form of packets, right? That is what quantums. Okay, this is what considered as emission spectrum. That will be quantums of energy will be in the form of spectrums. That is what considered as emission spectrum. These are the two things, children: emission spectrum and the absorption spectrum. Whenever it is jumping from the lowest energy to the highest energy level, it requires the energy. That's what it absorbs. There it possesses absorption spectrum. And from the higher energy level to the lower energy level, it has to lose the energy. So thereby it will emit the energy. That is what in the form of emission spectrum. Now you got it, children? Let's see the next. Now, line spectrum of hydrogen. See, each spectral line corresponds to a specific transition. Each spectral line corresponds to a specific transition, children. Okay. Now, from the ground state to the higher states require energy. An electron falling from a higher to the lower state releases the energy. Just now I told you, electron moving from the ground state to the higher state, it requires the energy. Am I right? Ground state in the sense lower energy level. To the higher, it requires some of the energy. Electron is falling from higher to the lower. That means higher energy, more energy is there. It is jumping to the lower. Then it releases some of the energy. So these two causes for the emission and the absorption spectrum. Now coming to the wave properties of matter. But of course, Bohr thought all of these, but Bohr could not able to explain why the electrons were restricted to fixed distances around the nucleus. Just now I told you, either it will be there in the first orbit or it will be there in the second orbit, but it won't be there in the middle of the first and second orbit at all. Am I right? So how could be those are fixed at the fixed distances? Bohr could not able to explain it. Okay, then Louis de Broglie reasoned that if energy, that means light, can behave as a particle, that is what photon, then perhaps the particles, that is what electrons, could exhibit the wave characteristics. Why is it so? It is only at the fixed distances, because light used to possess both particle and the wave characteristics. That is the reason how it is going to get the same distances from the nucleus. Now coming to the wave properties of matter, de Broglie proposed that electrons in atoms behave like standing waves. Okay, there are some of the points called nodes. Let us observe this picture, children. You may understand. Suppose here it's a guitar. Okay, guitar. Now this guitar has been plucked. Then what happens? See this, children. Here are the nodes. Here are the nodes. That means the ending points over here. Means this is the one node, and here is another node, and here is another node. Okay. Can you observe the nodes over here, children? Nodes. That means it doesn't have enough any energy over here. That means the particle is at stationary, we can say. This is node, and this is another node, and this is another node. Okay, that means whenever, now you observe over here, children, observe the side pictures over here. See these pictures. The electron in see the light blue colored line. See here the blue colored line. This is the orbit. Okay, this is the shell. Now in this shell, the electron is moving, of course, in the shell itself, but in the wave format. Okay, now you observe over here. It is in also the wave format. Here also in the wave format like this. Okay, so it should complete, children. It should not go like this. It should not go like this. This is wrong. Okay, it should not go like this. This is wrong. It should not go like this. Only these two are the things which are correct notation of wave nature. Okay, wave nature. Now here, that means the particle used to travel like this and then like this and like this and then like this. That means in the form of a wave it used to travel. The form of a wave it used to travel. This is what the wave property of the matter, that is wave property of the light and wave property of the energy, we can say. Okay, now let's see the quantum mechanics. Scientists earn to understand exactly where the electrons are in the atom, but these all the things they gave some of the idea, like electrons are jumping from one energy level to another energy level, or else it is standing by in that energy level itself and it is rotating there, that means revolving around the nucleus. These all the ideas cracked the scientist brains, children. Exactly where the electron will be inside the atom around the nucleus. Then they came up with a principle, that is what Heisenberg came up with the uncertainty principle. Means what he said exactly, we cannot find the electron around the nucleus in a proper place. That means there will be an uncertainty position. See, always the electron used to move from one place to another. Continuously it used to revolve. Then whenever light has been focused, how can we identify and how can we tell the moving electron at a particular place? It is not possible for us, right? Suppose a small boy is there. Okay, now he is doing something else in the room. He is doing something else in the room, but he is not sitting. He is not sitting. He is just moving here and there and doing something. Then I observed him first of all near the sofa. After a second, I observed him up near a chair. Okay. Afterwards, I observed at the corner. Means continuously that boy is moving. That means moving around the whole room. Okay, then how can I say that this boy is over here only? I can say he is in that room, but I can't say the exact position of that particular boy. That means here I am considering that as electron. Okay, this is what Heisenberg uncertainty principle said, and he gave the mathematically position. He mathematically described the position and the velocity of an electron, and that means the more we know, there is a probability. That means there is a chance of having the electron in a particular place. But we cannot say exactly the electron will be here only. We cannot say. We cannot say the electron will be here only. But we can say that the probability means where the boy will be. The boy will be in the room. We can say that. But in the room where he is, in which orientation, in which place exactly, we cannot justify. That is what explained by Heisenberg. Okay, so coming to the Heisenberg's equation. Okay, when Heisenberg said about this, then it has been disproved the Bohr's model of defined orbits for electrons. That means whenever electrons are revolving around the nucleus, it doesn't have any specified orbits. That means it won't travel in the particular orbits only. Bohr's theory did not provide a clear description for this. Then Erwin Schrödinger derived a complex mathematical formula incorporate the wave and the particle characteristics. Because why it has been disproved? Because maybe Bohr thought that only it is a particle nature. Okay, and then Heisenberg and the Schrödinger, these all came with an idea that it is having the wave characteristics as well as the particle, both the characteristics. Using both the characteristics, we can find out, that means that there is a possibility of finding an electron around the nucleus. Okay, so quantum mechanics, that is what considered as the wave mechanics, does not allow us to specify exact location of the electrons. We can predict high probability. That means we can assume where the electron will be mostly. That is what the high probability of finding an electron. Now use the term atomic orbital instead the orbit. Means actually Bohr said that it is an orbital. But instead of the orbital, what we have to mention, it should be an orbit to describe the electron's position within the atom. Okay. Okay, students. In the next class, we will discuss about the quantum numbers. Thank you so much, children. Take care and revise all the concept. Take care. Bye, children.